Hello, everybody. It's Erin here, and we are doing part 4 of the 5-part series for connecting with plants. So let me know if you're here with me. I hope you've had a good summer solstice that just happened. Well, just happened like yesterday, within the last 24 hours here in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're watching from the Northern Hemisphere. So summer solstice just happened, which means it's the longest day and shortest night. And now, technically, the days get tiny bit shorter as we go along. So summer solstice to me is a little bittersweet because we've hit our peak of the sun, but now we're actually starting to go towards the fall equinox, which is going to be the next natural phenomenon that happens. So summer solstice was rainy and dreary here and cool, but very much needed. So it was a really great thing to have, is the rain for the plants, because the plants were, not so happy. They really needed to get some rain, and I know there's other parts of the country in the United States that need rain as well. So it was nice to have some cool rainy days because we've had some really hot ones here. So all right, so connecting with plants, part 4 of this series. Today, what I'm talking about is what it feels like when we've connected with plants. So people will want to know, how will I know that I'm connected with the plants? How will I know that my intuition is working? How will I know when that other way of knowing has kicked in and I'm actually receiving information, communications, and connections from the plants? So that's what I'm going to be talking about and sharing about in the next 10 to 15 minutes here in this 5-part series of connecting with plants. So many times when people are connecting with plants, they feel like they're making up something in their mind and that it's really just them making something up, which is also what people feel like and share with me when they've just finally learned how to use their intuition for the first time, and they're just starting to connect. They say, well, it's not really a strong message. It's just kind of there. It's almost like I've made this answer or message up in my mind. And I want to encourage you to continue to explore even when that happens, when you have that wobble, you have that doubt that something coming to you is just made up in your mind. So with plant spirit medicine, we're talking about physically what we can put in our bodies, on our bodies, around our bodies. Around our bodies, I mean that energetic feeling, the aromas, the intuitive parts that we feel. So when people are looking to connect with plants to get information, to use it for internally, what I want to let you know is that is one part of the process of getting to know the plant to use it for plant spirit medicine. When you get that intuitive feeling, you get the visual, whatever sensation you're getting as you connect with plants, that's one part of the puzzle. So your job after that is to go try to find other pieces that verify what you just felt, saw, sensed, dreamed, whatever, and then continue with that. Some people will say, well, my intuition isn't good enough. My sense of connection with the plant isn't good enough so that I can actually get information to use it. I feel like I'm going to harm myself with the information I get. And the point is not just to use only your intuition and your ability to connect with the plant to get information to put something in your body. It's part of the whole thing. So when connecting with plants, for me, it can be many different things. It can be a physical sensation. I've walked past plants and felt, feelings of hotness on my skin, almost like stops me in my tracks to pay attention. I've had dreams about plants. And just sitting next to the plant, if you get an emotion over you as you sit next to it, or a sense of a feeling, that is also that's evidence that there's a connection taking place. So some people will really gravitate towards certain plants. They're sets of favorites, so to speak, and those are the ones that they are connecting with the most. Think of it as like a radio being tuned in. Some people can tune in to certain frequencies, and other people don't tend to go in on that frequency. So if you seem to be really attracted and gravitate towards certain plants, that is a sign that you have a connection with that particular group of plants. Or it may be that one tree in that one spot. If you resonate with the white pine tree in your backyard or at a local park, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to feel the same way with all white pines. So, or it may be that you are always going towards the white pines no matter where you are. So think of it like that you are tuning in like a frequency to certain plants. And it may be the group of plants wherever they are, no matter where, it's the same plant, no matter what piece of land you're on, or it might be a particular plant that you always go to, a particular set of bushes, a particular garden, or a particular tree. So it can be one particular plant, or it can be a collection of plants. That's something that's not as mentioned, right now either, is that a collection of plants can also evoke a connection, a feeling, a gravitation towards. Some people are very much geared towards prairies or forests or deserts. So a group of plants can create a sense of connection to a frequency about it. So you get this sensation of connection, of wanting to be next to a particular one. That's one way you're connecting. Another way you're connecting is if you do, some people are very much visuals, so they will see visual things in their mind's eye. Some people get information through like the auditories, or even sense, smell, and touch. There's all different ways to know that you are actually connecting with plants. So that's some of the evidence that you can get after you've done many of the things that I talked about in this series. And we're on part 4 right now. There's one more in the series. I've talked about what it means to connect with plants, how you can start to do that practice. And it is a practice. You do have to practice it. It's something that it's like a muscle that you have to tone and keep going. And so then, people are always like, oh, how do I know if I'm doing it right? And you will have some sort of sensation in some way. Check in with your mind, your spirit, your body as well. If you go and are next to the plant in its original environment, or you're holding a cup of tea with a particular plant, if you notice a particular sensation in your body that happens frequently when you're with the particular plant or collection of plants or particular herbal remedy, that's another thing to keep in mind, is that wherever you feel it in your body is also a sign of how you're connecting with that plant. For example, some people will have certain smells, the aroma of the plant, trigger particular memories or trigger a particular physical response. So there are some plants that I come in contact with their aromas that my body just relaxes when I'm with them. So that's a sign that I'm connecting with the plant. It is physically connecting with me, or sometimes there is even energetically, it might kind of uplift me. So all those things are ways that you know that you're connecting with the plants. Yeah. Jennifer says, I love the forest and past few years, I've been connecting more with prairies. And yes, it can ebb and flow throughout your life. I've also heard of people saying, like, I grew up in the woods and now I live in the desert and it just doesn't feel the same. Or some people will say, I have to move to the desert area. I love those plants. I really have to be next to those plants. Everybody has their own resonance, their own way of feeling the connection for whatever reason. And if you're more of, let's say you are a person who is really gravitated towards like desert type plants, arid Southwest type plants here in the United States, if you just seem to gravitate towards them and you don't even live near them, then those might be the ones that you want to start learning more about. You may not be able to go sit next to them in their natural environment, but you can get some of their, the dried material or herbal remedies with them in there and use those to start creating that connection as well. So, we can connect through our mind by learning. We can connect through heart space, through that for the energy point on our body and all the other energy points too, by, connecting with them that way. And so there's many different ways to connect with the plants and also to experience them. Most people want to learn how to connect with plants so that they can know how to use them. And what I want you to maybe try using the word play with the plants. So rather than just trying, what is the information I can get from them? How can I go play with this plant? How can I go connect with them in a way that feels playful? Because you have to do it in a way that is relaxed, and not necessarily like waiting, where's the answer? I need the answer. But you definitely have to find ways to, what I call, pause that mental mind. Some people call it meditate or empty out. And then in that moment, then that message and the connection, the communication comes through. So Pam is saying, Devil's Club, the smell draws me in. I wildcraft it, make balms and tinctures, use the roots and stems for wands and energy circles and magical. Yeah, so you're using all facets of it and you connect with that plant very well. Cottonwood buds are the ones that when I smell them, it's just like this most pleasant, amazing feeling that I get in my body and just in my whole spirit and being. It's a connection that I feel, like an earth connection. I really love it. Hi, Georgianne. I do see your messages there. Yes, I do. So that's my short mini lesson on connecting with plants and what it feels like, how you know that you're connecting with them, some of the ways that you know that you have the evidence, so to speak. And so next week at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, same places that I'm streaming in right now, I will do part 5 of the 5-part series. I will also be putting these up on my podcast, which is the acronym Herbs with Erin, Remedies for Body and Spirit. I'm on iTunes and Spotify. And then I also make these into blog posts where I put the video, the audio, and any other resources or, things I want to be sharing. So you can find the replays of all these in many places. And I stream into YouTube, Facebook group, and Facebook page. I know that I see some of you here in all of those places. I see on the comments here. So if you're watching the replay, let me know that you are here in the comments. And for those listening to the podcast, you can always come to the Full Circle Herbals Facebook page and the Plant Priestess Exploration Facebook group, or Full Circle Herbals YouTube channel, and leave a comment there as well. So thanks for joining in, everybody. I hope you have a great day and take care.